All right. Let's get there we go. All right, Zoom. Where are you? Here it is. Pop it up right here. Let me get this watch list posted for you guys. All right, watch list is up. Let's get that rolling. All right. Uh, And I think for a lot of those contracts doing a rollover, guys, all you got to do is Google it. Um, but I think this one I had already posted it before. Oh, CME group calendar. Let me go there. Group calendar. 100 futures calendar. All right, last day to trade is 19 of December. Where's my little screenshot button? I'll send this to you guys. 19 of December. Actually, I can just copy and paste the link. Here we go. So go open up that link. When you open up that link, it's going to have the NASDAQ 100 futures calendar. You can see it says NQZ25, what that's from 22 May up to 19 December. Um, but technically, you do want to roll it over now. Okay. So now you would be pushing over to NQH26. All right. All right. Let's get into the watch list. Why do I have two up? That's strange. Okay. All right. So again, make sure if you guys are new, make sure you are actually reading the start here message that Circle sends you when you join. All right. That start here message is there for a reason, and it would answer a lot of y'all's questions. And then also under the watch list, that pinned post, I have all the terminology in there as well. So some people are like, James, what's a breakout? Well, just look at that first pinned post. I have the vocab breakdown of everything. I have how I trade. I have the contracts, everything. So, um, NQQQQ, tricky spot. I'm going to be completely transparent with you guys right now. I am trying to take a breakout of a 4-hour resistance level. There is a high likelihood I take this breakout. Well, not a high likelihood, but there is a higher likelihood than normal. I take this breakout, and this level is extremely strong. Okay, this 4-hour support level, remember, 24,415 has been nasty. So we had that bounce of this level on Thursday, December 11th and December 2nd. So if I go back to December 2nd, you guys see that bounce there? Nasty level. This is a very, very strong level. So keeping that in mind, right, what I'm banking on is the slippage we had past this level somewhat, right? We had some slippage past this, but look, it still bounced aggressively. If you look at it, we had that big sell candle. It bounced from 413 all the way up to 473. So it had a 60-point bounce off my 4-hour support, and then it gave it up. But that's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on basically this 25,400 level forming as our base and just ripping it through 25,415. That's what I'm banking on. Okay. So I want you guys to keep that in mind. Now, um, so that level that I'm looking at is 25,399 and 618.2. Okay. Now, must be strong with volume or it will reject this level hard 4-hour level. That's what I have on the watch list. If it does reject this level, that means that rejection is forming again. I am looking to go short at 25,373 or 617.5. Okay. Very obvious game plan today. I feel like a lot of you might agree with my game plan here. If you're looking at this, you might be like, oh, yeah, that is a 4-hour rejection level. And if we reject it, we might start to sell through quite a bit again. So that's where that thesis is coming from. All right. I just want everyone to be aware. And if we rip it to the upside, I'm getting 619 calls on QQQ. And if we rip it to the downside, I'm getting 616 puts on QQQ. All right. Tesla, massive strength here. You guys see this, right? Massive strength. So we have from last Monday. Monday, we started way down here, down at support, held that support, have ripped to the upside, kind of a consolidation breakout on Friday for that massive move that we had. But what did it do Friday? Came right back to 442.27, and then now it's just gapped up. So looking at Tesla today, I'm looking for a breakout of 470 to the upside. Nice key whole psychological number. Or I'm going to watch for a bounce of 457.47. I want to use 457. I don't want to really use 460 here because it didn't really respect it much on Friday. So I'd rather wait to see if something confirms at 460. Great. I'll try to take it maybe at 462.88. But as of now, 457 is what I got in mind for support level on that. All right, 475 calls for that for Tesla. They will be expensive. Keep that in mind. You can go further out the money if you'd like. Apple, I love this consolidation it's formed. This 280 breakout to me looks primed on Apple. So 279.25. I'm watching for a possible breakout for calls. The confirmation for me that this trade is going to be a big one is if it gets above 279.80. If it can get above 279.80, then hey, this might start to rip further. Yeah, keep in mind I'm based on NQ for TradingView, guys. So keep that in mind. All right. Um, the other thing we want to be keeping in mind here is this is going to be the last week, the last full week, right? Of like probably the last week you're going to have any type of real volume. So if you're trying to take days off, guys, I would say this Thursday, honestly, is a great day. Like Thursday, Friday, it's a great day to start taking some time off if you'd like. If you're like, hey, look, I love trading, but I don't really want to trade when we get super deep into the holidays and the volume starts to die down. If that's you, I would tell yourself Wednesday is your last trading day. That's what I would say. All right. And then you could pick it back up literally after the New Year's. So you could have yourself quite a good break if you would like. All right. Um, all right. So we got Apple for that breakout to the upside. Again, watching 280 calls on Apple. Trying to load these contracts as I talk about them. Yeah, 280 calls, 37,000 on the open interest. I like that. I like that. Um, and then the last one is Nvidia forming some support down here at the bottom. We can see that it's trying to fight at this area the last few days. So staying above 177, I am kind of biased, right? I do like the fact we're above 177. So I got a tight range here on Nvidia because I think it can flow with the market. If the market forms that 4 hour reject, I can see Nvidia coming down with it. So Nvidia, I'll only go for calls if we break 178. That's the only way I'm going calls. Those will be the 180 calls. Otherwise, if it starts to reject with the market, I'm going to look at 177 for breakout for puts to the downside. That would be the 175 puts. Okay. All right. Getting my contracts ready here. Ooh. OBS, that's right. All right. So for Tesla, I'm a big fan of this. You really could try. You could do anything up to the 490 calls, I would say. Anything up to the 490 calls would work great. All right. Market's bouncing right off of that 373 level. Now it's trying to rip to the upside here. Still have a minute and a half, unfortunately. This would be a great open. It would be a great open. I'd basically just be looking for that volume confirmation and getting in for calls. That's basically what I would be doing. I would not be surprised if Tesla gets some crazy momentum. Tesla and Nvidia would not be surprised if they got some crazy momentum. So keep that in mind. 45 seconds. All right. Projecting right at that level. QQQ puts them in these guys. Oh my gosh. Hold on. It hasn't even filled me yet. QQQ. Why is this not filling me here? I'm canceling my order. Hold on. I'm canceling my order right here. Why is it not filling that? Tesla's absolutely ripping to the upside. If you're in Tesla, I still like Tesla here. I still like Tesla here where it's at. QQQ never filled my short position. I have no idea why. Again, I would be stopping out of this position with a 15-point stop loss on Tesla per se. I'm sorry, on QQQ and Q. But I love this Tesla trade that's absolutely pushing to the upside here. Tesla has quite a bit of room. Again, I want to keep that in mind. It can literally form some new all-time highs this week, and it can diverge from the market. So if the market starts to sell, you're still set. You're still set. There goes Tesla. I would trim here on Tesla. This is 20% profit right here. So this is where I would take that first trim on Tesla right now and put that stop at entry. Market is still trying to break through this 372 level. Picking up a lot of buyers down there. I will flip for longs because I'm not in this short position. I will flip for longs if this starts to rip. Only if the volume confirms, because as of right now, the 4-hour reject has confirmed. So it needs a full volume flip. Nice, Tesla. All right, trim in again here on Tesla, guys, at this 477.64 level. Sold half the position on Tesla. QQQ puts and Q calls. I am now actually in these. They have filled me. So QQQ 616 puts. My fill is $1.10 a contract. That's where I'm taking my first trim right here on QQQ. Taking my first sell position here on QQQ and Q. I'm pushing this further to the downside now, guys. Targeting this next big level down here. Stop loss is at entry. Stop loss is at entry on QQQ and Q. Remember, Tesla, I've sold half my position. QQQ puts, NQ shorts. I have sold a quarter so far. I'm selling another quarter here on NQ. I'm selling another quarter here on NQ currently. Oy. All right, now I'm going for this next large support level, guys. On NQ, QQQ. Next support level, way down here. This is quite heavy profit here. All right, I'm majority out of this QQQ trade. I don't like this balance it's forming off of 334. So just in case, because I've got some good profits between these two trades, I'm just trying to think of building this buffer for the week. So I've sold 60% of my QQQ position. 60% of this has been sold. We do want to be cautious at the support level down here. Absolutely beautiful trade so far. This is a great full exit, by the way. If you don't want to deal with any pullback at all, this might literally pull back all the way to entry. So if you don't like that idea, sell the whole thing right here. You're still 47 points in profit. 48 points, 47 points of profit. Still a beautiful trade. 66 points at the peak down there. Tesla, I'm going to shoot for that new all-time high on Tesla. I want to see it happen. Absolutely beautiful, huh? Who's in NQ shorts off the open, man? Who's in NQ shorts off the open? You guys give me some emojis. I'm going to do a little video. If you guys like that. All right. So we're 6 minutes in. We had our game plans off the open. These were based on watch lists that I posted on the live. NQ shorts that were in for 66 points. And then we also got Tesla calls to the upside. So great setups. Still trading, but nice to finish that early. Cool. Good job, guys. Good job. Yeah, Caleb, you got a nice rejection. You got a really good entry, my friend. You entered way before me. I was going to say at contract, my peak on my contracts were about 54% profit when I took that second trim. All right, check it out on the 1 minute. It's got to hold this support level right here, basically. If it breaks this, we're probably going to do a reversal. Tesla. Now, I am not trimming again on Tesla. I'll trim again at 483 right here. I'll trim again, and then I'm going to push for that new all-time high. All right, guys. Now, remember, I literally mentioned as it was forming this bounce when you were 47 points in profit right here. I mentioned that this is a great full exit if you don't want to deal with any type of pullback. Because I know some of you cannot sit through a pullback. Like a pullback happens and you hate it, right? Totally get it. That's why I mentioned these things out loud. So we really did anticipate this bounce very, very, very well. So keep that in mind as you're in this trade. Okay. Whenever if you noticed at 47 points you were super nervous, and like right now it's giving you another chance to get out at 47 points, keep that in mind as you're trading. Because me, to give you some insight into how I felt, I was not nervous at all on this pushback up. I am not nervous. I have scaled out of my position accordingly. I'm ready to go. If this thing starts to sell back through, we can see on the 1 minute time frame, it has pushed back up into that resistance level, rejected that level beautifully, and started to sell back off again. So these are the types of things that we look for when we do take breakout trades. We look for if those retests are going to occur. That's why you want to take that breakout maybe a little bit prior to the level. That way, if those retests occur, you stay in the trade. All right, this is that resistance level or support level if you want to take a full exit. This is it. I'm hoping, obviously, it continues to flush this. I want to see, because right now this is 84 points in profit. I want to see it continue to push personally. All right. Almost at 100% profit here, guys. I'm going to take this trim now. I'm going to take a small trim here. $1.94 a contract. $1.94 a contract on that trim. It filled basically right here is where it filled. 615.77 or 25,300. So close to 100 points. Look at that. So darn close. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. All right. NQ. I basically want to see this stay below 616.4 and I want to see this stay below 25,333. If it breaks above that at this point, that can be a good sign to get out and profit. All right. So you guys have your stop loss criteria now. A really good trailing stop is right here if you want your stop in profits, basically. There you go. Tesla, come on, get us up here. This is probably one of the biggest trades I'm excited about, guys, this Tesla trade. I don't know if I announced it um, for Tesla, but my fill on Tesla was $4 a contract. $4 a contract on Tesla. We're over 100% here. Profits basically right here was over 100%. I'm going to mark it out for now, but I'm still wanting to see more out of this trade, particularly. Michael, I cannot call out two trades at the same time. So if things happen quickly, what I do is I prioritize NQ. So yes, you were supposed to take it. That's why I go over it in the watch list. If you want it, if you liked it, obviously. If you liked it. I'm not saying you like you should have. Yes, I'm not saying that. But yeah, that's why I try to go through the watch list the best I can and in detail and post it just because I did that in the very, very beginning when I started, Michael, and a lot of people didn't like that. They said it was too fast and it was confusing. Um, so I'm just trying to do what the majority of people in here prefer. And I know everybody can trade QQQ and NQ because this is futures and this is options. But if I prioritize Tesla per se, then obviously I'm leaving all the futures guys kind of to hang out. So all right, let's see if this continues to come back. So if you're on a prop firm and you stopped out in profit, that's totally fine. I would not take a reentry. I would view this as your beautiful one and done trade. That was a really beautiful trade on your end. Don't sweat that, okay? But you got to be realistic with a prop firm. You can't let a trade go 80 points in profit and pull back 50 points, right? So you got to be realistic. NQ shorts, I'll watch this retest for you. Let's see. I like the rejection it's forming here. The issue is this volume. This is really high volume on this bounce. That's my only concern. Like, see the volume, how high it is right here? This volume with that confirmation tells me that this 176 is a real bounce. And there's a high likelihood it actually snaps through this 177 because this volume is so high. I would wait. I would wait. This is very difficult where it's at right here on NVIDIA. The good confirmation, if you want to take it, you would have to have a very tight stop. I would say a 10% stop loss on this if you're taking puts at 177. But in my opinion, NQ is at a 4-hour bounce level. NVIDIA is trying to break through this. I think it's going to keep pushing personally. And if that does happen, we might see the market bounce as well, like aggressively, which would probably stop you out of this short trade. So just keep that in mind. If I was trying to enter these puts and I wanted real confirmation, um, yeah, see, it's even diverging from the market. Look, the market's selling. Here's 100 points. Guys, take the trim on NQ, QQQ. If you are in the trade, take your trim now. QQQ, we are at $2.20 a contract, so you should be close to 100% profit here. All right, now NVIDIA should start to confirm to sell with this. It needed to follow, though. I did not like how it was pushing up while the market was selling. That's a very bad sign. But now that it's following suit, this is a good sign. So NVIDIA should ideally reject that 177 level. All right. So I want to go for 150 points now on NQ and 150% on QQQ. Just going to let this rock and roll, guys. All right, let me go over this real quick. Okay. Remember, computer laptop giveaway. Computer laptop giveaway. We are going to be looking for roughly. I was going to decide if I wanted to do two people, but I think one is good enough. Um, I'm going to be announcing that tomorrow. tomorrow I'm going to choose a winner for the $2,000 laptop giveaway. All right. Let me reattach it in the chat room so you guys are aware. If I can, laptop, will it pull up? Did I not type it as laptop? Oh, come on. Big end of year giveaway. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right. Remember, if you're a yearly member, you're getting additional. It's whatever you want, Charles. It just has to be under $2,000. That's it. But it's whatever you want. All right. Um, the main thing I would say is if you're a yearly member or a bootcamp member, obviously you have some more entries. All you have to do is click that hyperlink and it will open it up for you guys. But being a student in Valor, you have one entry per month you are here. That way I can give more favor to those who have been here, since last December. So they have 12 entries technically. If you're a yearly student, you have 12 entries. Um, if you sign up for, I don't even know if I have the yearly link up anymore. If you want to sign up for yearly, just send me a message in Circle saying yearly. That's all you have to say. So just DM yearly to sign up if that's what you want to do. All right. It'll give you 12 additional entries today. So if you've been here for 3 months and then you want to sign up for the yearly now, that would be 15 entries. I'll type it out just in case. DM yearly. This is if you want to do this in terms of having more entries for the giveaway. And obviously, if you want to be here for another year, I will obviously be here for another year myself. Um, but now where did it just go? Kidding me. Come on. Um, elite students, those are people sign up for the elite program. Boot camp students, that's 5 entries there as well. Um, what I'm going to do, all right, for whoever wins this, then what you're going to do is I'm just going to post it in the chat so everyone knows it's legitimate and I'm not just pretending like someone won. I'll tag the winner in the chat. All right. What I need you to do is I'm gonna need you to send me in a personal message, not on the live chat. I want you to send me in a personal message your address. All right. And if you're someone local, then I will come pick you up. I'll get the Lambo. I'll come pick you up and we'll head to wherever your computer is and we'll go buy it in person. If it's someone local. If you're not local, then we will just do I'm just going to order it online, have it shipped to you. This way you can get it before Christmas. All right. I don't want to wait until right before Christmas and it's like you get it after the fact. So, but yes, the screenshot example I attached, that MacBook Pro, you can get a MacBook Pro for 1,800 bucks. And obviously, so that qualifies, right? So, man, that's funny. All right, guys. So far, um, still in Tesla. I want to see this thing keep pushing to the upside on Tesla. I'm still in NQ, QQQ shorts here. I'm just wanting to see if this can hit 150 points realistically. Um, right now, again, as long as it stayed below this 25,334, that's what I was wanting to see to stay in this trade. If it broke above and closed above, I would have wanted to probably exit this trade in profit. Um, so that's what I'm waiting on just to see what happens here. This next 5 minute candle, if we cannot form a new low, that's where I'm going to start to get concerned. We need to form a new low on this 5 minute candle. Remember, Tesla, and the reason I'm shooting for this is because I think we can make a new all-time high. All right. I really think this can happen on Tesla. Um, would you guys like me to show you? Um, I probably have to break this down on a 1 minute, wouldn't I? Where are you in the 1 minute? There you are. All right. I'm going to show you guys on QQQ really fast. Let me stop the screen share. So just keep an eye on this. This is that next trim area. All right. Basically 150 points profit. So let me trim again real quick on QQQ here. $2.63 a contract on QQQ. All right. I'm taking this other trim up here. So selling some contracts at this moment in time. Okay. All right. Now let me swap the screen share here. I'm so bad at this. All right. So this QQQ trade, okay? The thing I was seeing, let me put this on a 1 minute so you can see the correlation, okay? So if you remember on this push to the downside, what I saw on the first call out that didn't fill me for some darn reason, but didn't fill me was the selling pressure right here that pushed in this 24,000. There was actually quite a few sell orders that hit the tape, and that's what I liked. So all these sell orders that hit the tape here was the reason for that entry right there, okay? Now, the second entry, which was my first entry, but it was the second call out. All right, the second one. We had this little bit of consolidation right here, but what I loved, what I absolutely loved, because what I was telling myself was, hey, as long as it can hold below the 618.20 where all that volume is sitting, look at that 180 on the sell side on the volume. All right, these are 1 minute candles on a volume footprint chart. All right, this is what you guys are seeing the volume footprint chart, right? Is everyone seeing that right now? Okay, all right. What I liked was main concern for in terms of stop loss is, hey, let's see if this can hold below this 618.20, right? I want to see it, watch what happens, see how this moves, etc. Um, Now zero DTE, obviously, yes, Tesla, all these other things rocking 10% stop losses, but QQQ, it is 15%. So watching this play out, sitting here watching the contract values, because I still have them loaded and I'm just taking a look at them. They're holding up well during this move. They were holding up well in this consolidation. They weren't losing too much value, which again, giving me more confirmation that this actually wants to work out. Sorry, let me make this a little bigger. That this actually wants to work out. So as I'm watching this play out, I'm telling myself, okay, if this starts to sell back through yet again, what I want to see is a snap through of an order block, which was sitting right here around 618, which makes sense, full psychological number. It also makes sense because now we're seeing it reject this level. So I'm saying once we flush through 618, I'll look to take that entry. So once I saw all these sell orders start to come in, right? Left side, which is the bid, that's the sell orders. All right. Once I see everything, all these orders start to hit the bid on the tape, that's when I called out that second entry just for that clear confirmation, just in case someone was in my situation too and they didn't get filled. I wanted them to be able to actually take the trade entry. And then as you can see from here, a nice, beautiful, clean flush to the downside, right? We start to see a lot of orders hit the bid and start to sell through. Now, we do bounce off of a decent level, right? And we start to move back to the upside, but still, what do we see, guys, on a volume footprint chart? What are you seeing? Where is the next area of interest? It's sitting right here. This is where that point of control is. Point of control meaning that this is the area where the heaviest volume was sitting on this particular 1 minute candle. And now that we come back up, what do we see? We see it respect that point of control. We also see it respect the first low that was formed. So here's that first low that was formed during the day, right? And we see it respect that to the T. So, and that's that technically that break and retest trade that you can watch play out, right? So is this a good explanation, you guys? You guys have any questions about this before I put it away? That's just the reasoning why we like this setup. There's the reasoning of why you would stay in that first call out. What would you be looking for to stay in that particular trade? Um, Breaking it down on a 1 minute time frame. What do I want to see on a 1 minute time frame? Again, just from a technical analysis perspective alone, the large wicks that have formed on this 1 minute time frame. What does that like to tell you guys? Usually price does not want to stay in that area when large wicks form. It's showing us that there are not enough buyers present there at the ask to push this price higher. There's not enough buyers present at the ask. And then kind of like me, when it showed that real confirmation right here, that's when people started to step in at the bid, or i.e. for puts. So it starts to make sense, right? So, and as of right now, NQ is sitting at a nice, let me put this back in a 5-minute here. How far in profit are we right now? We are 169 points in profit. I'm going to go ahead and put this back on the normal screen. All right. So you're 168 points of profit, guys. However you want to let this start to play out. I'm gonna go ahead and put QQQ back on a 5. Actually, I'm gonna put QQQ on a 15-minute time frame, so you can see how this plays out in a 15-minute. By the way, for those that don't know how to use TradingView, um, whenever you see the chart like this, I'm using my mouse wheel to scroll. All right. If you don't like how it's fixed, like let's say you're like, dude, I want to zoom in, but I want to be able to see these 2 days zoomed in, and you don't like how it's scrolling. It's scrolling because I've selected this button, which resets the chart view and makes it an auto fit. If you do not like what's called auto fit, where it automatically does that, all you have to do is do this. That breaks the auto fit. So I'm right clicking on the numbers, see where the cursor changes to an arrow. I right click and I can change that. I can also change it down here, right? I can do that. Uh, Now when I scroll out, it stays in the same area. It does not do an auto fit. So I can scroll to zoom in and elongate as I would like. So if I'm really like trying to hone in on like, man, I really want to see the 643 break, I can do it like that. And if you want to go back to the overall, like the world view, kind of like a video game, you just click that and now you can zoom out again. All right. Um, to set alerts, I had people ask me about that. All you got to do is right click. Right click gives you all the options. So I can add an alert on Meta. I can choose however I want it to choose only once. The time, I can just hit create, and then boom, there's that alert. And now when it pushes up to this number, it will alert me. And I can set it to alert me on my phone, on my desktop, on an email, everywhere. You can also do that on Webull with your option contracts as well. You could have it alert you at a particular price of an option contract. So if you're walking away from a trade that's in profit and you don't want to set a hard take profit, you can just set an alert. Say, hey, at $2 a contract, let me know. And then boom, now you know, all right, $2 a contract's 100%. I'm going to take my trim here. Targeting this next 4-hour level. That's what I'm targeting. Um, well, Sam, your first order didn't fill. The second order was with me, my friend. If you didn't fill in that first order, that's a good thing because you didn't sit through any drawdown. You got lucky. I just want to explain this very clearly here. I tried to enter on the shorts on the first on that. This is a 1-minute candle, right? I tried to enter here. It did not fill my QQQ put position. It went into drawdown. Then on the second call out, which was here, that's where I entered. That's where I actually entered and I actually filled, which is why I was said it out loud. I'm like, my contract's actually filled at $1.13 a contract. That way it was very clear. So also I've heard some people, they've experienced this and then they didn't know what to do. If your order does not fill, if you go to fill your order and you see a massive, if you see a big bracket, so you'll see your stop loss and your take profit and your order line, but your trade won't be filled, you have to cancel it right away. Cancel the order. If I didn't cancel my order, it would have filled me down. Let me put it back on the 1 minute. If I did not cancel my order, it would have filled me down here. This is where it would have filled me. And then I would have been stopped out. Okay. So if you click buy market and it does not fill you within 1 second, you should cancel your order. That's just my 2 cents. It will not bode well because usually it means you're getting a late fill. All right, I think that's 200 points, guys. That's 200 points on NQ if you want to take your other trim down here, I think. Yep, 4-hour bounce zone. So 200 points profit right there. 200 points. I'm trimming right now. I did not get to trim there, obviously. So $3.27 a contract. Got my trim. We hit a high of 365. So it's 220% profit. All right. Kalila, I never signaled Nvidia, but Tesla, I have a break-even stop on Tesla simply because I've already sold the majority of this position on Tesla. If you do not like that, I would stop out personally now on Tesla. This would be roughly still 50% profit here. This is still a really good full exit on Tesla right here at 474.28. If you don't want to risk losing it all, but if I lose it all, I don't mind. I don't mind at all. Right now, as it's set up, basically formed a triple top rejection. I think this will more than likely come back to the entry. Yes, but I've got 10% of this position remaining on Tesla. So an example would be if I bought 10 contracts, I have one contract left. So I'm not concerned if this one contract comes back to the entry. That is totally fine. All right. So when I the reason you might see levels between the NQ and QQQ levels be a little different is because the chart, right? I'm trying to make them as accurate as I can, but the chart is making them significantly different. So what you might see the 4 hour levels be a little more respected somewhere else. That's purely because the what do you call it? The variance between QQQ and NQ, which I cannot control. I mean, we've been at multiple strong support levels, guys. We were at a support level here, we bounced. We were at a support level here, we bounced. So we've been bouncing. The whole point is the trade has been continuing to sell though. So that's why I keep holding some of this position and scaling out where I can. Now, I wanted to see where that 5 minute candle closed to decide if this was a full exit. It did close below, but now it's trying to sell through aggressively again. But we're so heavy in profit here, I don't really care. I mean, this is pretty big. This 215 point trade on a Monday, and Tesla hitting over 100% on a Monday. But see how it just pulls back right into one of my levels and starts to reject aggressively? I mean, that's a 20 point rejection right there, just based off that level. No, I was looking at the 5 minute. I was looking at the 5 minute. Um, I was mainly looking at the order book level too. I only scans the volume footprint, but um, you cut trades too early. Well, you just have to decide one day to hold the trade, my friend. There's no other way to get better at this. There's really no other way. It's one of those things that you learn through the practical application. That's how you learn. Otherwise, you'll be stuck. You'll forever be stuck scalping. But that's also why I mention these things out loud. So if you remember when our first sell through, I mentioned right here. So this was 66 points in profit and right at this level. where you were 47 points in profit. I said, if you don't want to deal with a pullback, this is a nice exit. And sure enough, there was the pullback. Now the trade continued, obviously, but that's one of those things. If you can't handle a pullback, like if you're like, dude, I freak out every single time. And then let's say you exit, you don't exit down here because you're like, no. But then it gets up here and you're like, yeah, I'm getting out, which is not a place to get out. That's a place for someone who didn't catch the trade to get a reentry. You know what I mean? So just one of those things to think about. But you will gain the most practice by actually executing the trade and actually holding the trade. That's the best way to get good at trading. Nice job, Ryan and Victor. Good job. Tesla, I ended up taking the 490 calls. I really liked the open interest on those compared to the 475s. And in my head, I was telling myself, well, if we actually do break the all-time high, which is what my plan was, then the 490 calls, that flip in the money would be aggressive. That would be really aggressive. So Aurelio, that's the whole, I literally just explained that whole thing. I did like a 5-minute explanation of why we entered this trade and why we stayed in this trade. So you're going to have to go back and watch those. How do you differentiate between a pullback and a reversal? Volume. If the volume is really high, like let's say this bounce here, if this bounce, if this volume closed higher, so in the next 50 seconds, if this volume was higher than the previous candle, that would tell me it's probably a legitimate bounce. And now it's probably going to have a much larger pullback than I anticipated. So that pullback becomes a reversal. But this selling candle was 1.3 million on the volume. This candle currently is 710,000. So the odds are very low that this is a legitimate bounce and it actually sells. I'm sorry, it actually reverses here. So the volume is still in our favor. Now, if this candle flipped red magically, that would be like a chef's kiss setup. That's a beautiful like green or red flip where you should see it just dump. The QQQ put contracts, Michael, were the ones I posted on the watch list. The ones I said out loud. QQQ 616s. Again, guys, refer to the watch list. A lot of your questions could be answered by looking at the watch list. My schedule for Christmas. Um, well, I'm gonna trade all this week. Next week, hold on, I want to pull up the pull up my browser. Just want to make sure. I'm gonna go to Market Watch. By the way, if you guys ever need any news, Market Watch is a great place to go. All right. If you don't have Trading View, just check out Market Watch. All right. So next week is very low volume. Very, very low. Monday, we have no news. Tuesday, we have a delayed GDP report, delayed durable goods, and consumer confidence. All right. Wednesday, we have jobless claims, which should give some movement for Wednesday, the 24th, but that will probably be the only movement. Um, Thursday, obviously, it's closed. It's Christmas. Friday, no news. So, in my opinion, that means that's why I was saying this is really the last like solid week to trade this week right here. Hence this beautiful move we're getting. Um, I would not, if you can skip next week, you should skip next week. All right. I'm not going to trade on the 26th, Friday, December 26th. I'm not going to trade. All right. Um, hopefully hopefully everyone else is in agreement with me on there. Um, but Friday the 26th, I'm not going to trade. And I'll post that going into that week. I'll post it so everyone's aware. Um, I'm trying to think if we should trade Monday. I'll decide if we're going to trade Monday based on Friday's close. Or I'm sorry, based on Friday's market price action. So Friday is good. If Friday is good, I want to trade Monday. But if Friday doesn't set up properly, we're going to skip Monday and we're going to trade Tuesday, Wednesday. All right. So that's how we'll treat next week, just so everyone's aware. Yeah. No worries, Michael. I just want you to be aware that because you'd be surprised how many people sign up for this community and they don't. I mean, all the hours of work I put into those extra sections and all the stuff, and they don't look at it. So I don't mind answering questions at all, though. You can always ask questions. No, Oriello, I'm not. I look at the 5 minute volume footprint, but I've been doing this for a while, so I'm pretty good at reading the volume within the 5 minute candle. You know what I mean? Like when the 5 minute candle closes, sure, you don't know what happened. If I'm looking at this after the fact, I have no idea what happened in that 5 minute candle. Correct. But if you were a part of that candle, then you know, hey, market opened, it sold, it bounced a little bit, and then it sold more, and then it bounced a little bit, and then it sold more. Like you know that all happened within a 5 minute candle because you were present. So in the moment you're seeing it happen, you don't have to be on the 1 minute, but sometimes it does help to go on a 1 minute. Oh, did I butcher the watch list, guys? I put the 13th, didn't I? Sorry about that. There it is. 12:15. Crayon brain there. Ticker LMT. What on earth is that? Let's see. Lockheed Martin. I cannot believe I just said what on earth is that. What a great company. All right. I'm assuming you're asking about long-term investments, whoever M is in the Q&A. Um, well, where it's sitting at now currently, let's see. There you go. Those are some solid levels for now for this. Yeah, this is what I like. Cool. Whoever M is. So whoever M who asked in the Q&A at 8:20. I don't know if you're still here. Otherwise, I just wasted my time. But those are some levels for Lockheed Martin for you, okay? Go ahead and screenshot that real quick. I'll give you 5 seconds. All right. All right, guys. Oh, no, don't change that level. I do not want to change my levels. All right. So we're sitting here at 240 points in profit currently. Um, Still letting this thing sell. I personally, myself, I'm waiting for 300 before I trim again. I'm waiting for 300. Um, on the on the contracts, guys, we're up at 445 a contract. Oh, we're really close, actually. I was going to say 452 a contract. I'm going to take another trim. So 452 a contract, which will probably be right here, is going to be 300% profit on QQQ. All right. So that's where I'm going to look to trim on QQQ again. Right there, basically. That'll be 300%. It got very close. It got 7 cents away. Why do I look at 4 hour levels? I just noticed that 4 hour levels get respected way more than hourly levels. There's a lot less noise. And at the same time, during big news events, 4 hour levels get respected too. So that to me is like the no brainer. Hourly levels get broken through like it's nobody's business. The market does not care about hourly levels almost. So that's why I try to do my best with being selective with the levels I choose. Man, Haven, you can't see my face because I forgot to start my video, but 3,700 on Tesla, that is gorgeous, dude. Absolutely love it. 8K in profit in the last 2 trading days, my biggest back-to-back trading days. That's so cool. I absolutely love it. All right, Jordan wants me to look at MSOS, Cannabis Fund. Damn, quite the rip it's had here, huh? That makes more sense. This makes a lot more sense. Yeah. Okay. Well, if you were in this, I would say this is the level I would be concerned about. If this daily candle can flip green, I think this thing could start to rip higher from a technical analysis perspective. But it also could have just shot to fill this gap, right? It might just be trying to fill that gap at 598 and then wants to sell back down. So it's really tough with stocks like this. Very, very tough to actually use technical analysis because things like this are usually super volatile. So it's very difficult to trade them. No, I don't use volume profile. You can use volume profile. Volume profile is a great tool to utilize. For anyone that doesn't know what that looks like, I'll show it to you for today's example. All right, take that trim here on it on QQQ. 300% profit, guys. Well, this is like 320% here, but 300% profit. $4.80 a contract on the fill here, guys. $4.80 a contract, 300% profit. You've also hit 262 points on NQ. 262 points. Gorgeous trade so far, guys. Absolutely gorgeous trade. We had a massive day today. I'm still in Tesla. I'm still in this. It has obviously pulled back aggressively. I'm just hoping we can hold. See how it's come back to retest my 470, 72, 70 level. Now it's trying to bounce. So I'm wanting to see this push. I'll swing this thing if I have to. I don't care. All right. So I'm not seeing any other questions. Go ahead and what's Palantir doing? Palantir's okay. I think that's pretty funny. I typed that out. Oh man, that's hilarious. Poor Amazon. All right. Oh, that's right. I was going to show you guys what it looks like. So all you got to do if you want to see what a volume session profile looks like, we're going to use QQQ because it has better volume than NQ. So if you want to keep an eye on your trade, just use this chart over here. All right. We're already 300% in profit. I am now targeting 400% in profit for QQQ. So let me do the math really fast. That will be $5.65 a contract on QQQ, guys. So in the 616 puts, $5.65 a contract. I will sell another trim. All right. Thanks, Carlos. I appreciate that. Okay, volume session profile. So we click the box we want to change. We come up to here. It says candles. Left click. You're going to have all these options. Okay. It says session volume profile. This is also where I select volume footprint. But if you want to do session volume profile, all right, now what this is going to show you is where all the volume is sitting in correlation with the levels. So now you can see, hey, look, all right, close to this 4-hour level, we did have quite a bit of volume. All right. There was relatively low volume here. We did have an increase in volume at this 4-hour level. Luckily, not a lot, because if we had a lot, it might have bounced there. We can also see relatively close to our entry, there was a huge amount of volume, right? Look at that, guys. Right where our entry was, there was a lot of volume. What a coincidence. What a coincidence, right? I wonder why that trade sold off so aggressively from there. So we can start to use things like this to our advantage to help determine levels. So you can also say, hey, look, all right, at 613.18, there was an aggressive bounce. So now if I'll change this to QQQ. So this is saying right at the level 613.30, there was an aggressive bounce. Look at it right here. Makes sense. Makes sense. There was an aggressive bounce there. Okay. And now I could keep going down more and more and more. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to go pretty far back to be able to see this. But now I can see, okay, there's not too much volume in this area. So we could see us start to sell through, which makes sense. We're selling through even more so here. 538 a contract. Get ready. We might hit 565 if this busts through right here. If this breaks through 611, we're going to see 400% profit on QQQ. But yeah, this is how you can use volume session profile to help draw out some levels for you. So hopefully that makes some sense for you guys. Wow. Absolutely incredible. There it is. Trimming now, 400% profit. 400% profit on NQQQQ right here. Holy moly. I think this is the biggest QQQ trade I've got on the live with you guys. This is the biggest one. So this is now 400%. Well, it's actually 415%. Gorgeous. We have hit 300 points as well. So if you'd like to trim now, you're at 300 points profit down here. Gorgeous trade. I'm just going to delete all these now. I'm now shooting for 500% profit. All right. 500% profit, guys, on the contracts. We're almost there, honestly. These contracts, this is the beauty of trading options. We're going to start to gain a lot more value than the futures contracts are. So $6.78 a contract will be 500% profits. And we are sitting right now at $6.33 a contract. So we're not that far away. This is probably going to be 500% right down there. That's probably going to be 500% profit. Let's see if there's any, interesting. Just going to let this sell. All right, for everyone that's left, I know, obviously not everyone's in this trade. I totally understand. However, if you liked, I'm going to do another recording. Okay. All right. So if you liked the explanations today, the breakdown, the live call outs, if you liked all that, just give me an emoji here. Show that support. Let's see it start to rack it up. Oh, Video's lagging. Hold on. Keep going. Keep going. All right. So students are loving it today. We have this massive trade, 300 points on NQ, 415% here. Did my best to give full explanations for everyone in the chat. Everyone enjoyed it. This is what I try to do on a daily basis, is just catch good trades like this and explain it on the live so people can understand why we're taking this, why we're holding it, and how we see it break through all these levels. So, Valor, baby. Wow. So cringe. Will I ever get over this? I don't know. I mean, you have to record stuff like that, but I don't know if I'll ever get used to that. Um, Tesla is coming back very close to stop me out, unfortunately. That is very unfortunate. But I just, I was so confident this could hit it. So here's the deal. The fill on the contracts have moved really well, right? The fill's around $4 a contract, and this is absolutely ripped. So I have the stop at entry, but at the same time, I mean, it's just, I said it earlier. I said it when it was right here. I said it was more than likely going to come back to entry. But this is one of those things where I just tell myself, like, look, we got 100% profits. I wanted to personally see more, so I was willing to risk the whole thing, right? What's that saying? Risk it for the biscuit or whatever. I just was really confident this was able to hit this all-time high. So if it ends up coming back to entry, that is what it is, right? That is what it is. Nothing I can do about it. All right. Oh, it's right there. 673 a contract. 678 will be 500% profit. It's almost there. Thought it would have hit it sooner, honestly. That was 495% profit down there. I'm waiting for 500, so. All right. I'm going to do a little overall review here before I head out. So right now, guys, we are currently sitting at 350 points in profit. All right, this is 350 points where you're at. This is an aggressive candle close. I could totally see us bouncing here. Got to be very cautious. So do not try to enter this trade right now. Do not try to enter into shorts right now. I'm telling you right now, stay away. Stay far away right now. This to me looks like a sign of a bounce. I'm going to have a trailing stop. I don't care how much percentage profit I use. I'm going to trade this off the charts. I'm going to have a trailing stop loss right here, 612.70. That's where I'll stop out in profits. I'm basically betting on that 4-hour level protecting me. Just seeing if this thing can dump. Because if this can dump, I mean, this could be like 1,000%, right? If this thing just keeps going for some reason. So, but this is obviously a very aggressive pullback on the day. Um, SPY too. SPY is nowhere near. Still got some room on SPY. So, man, I was so close to 500% profit. What a shame. I'll go ahead and mark it out. I mean, no, that wasn't a signal for calls, but if you entered calls, then that's on you. I mean, don't be, these are big candles. Like you should definitely be trimming because that's bounced from 69 all the way to 110. These are big candles, guys. Don't underestimate them. Um, it was just mainly that candle wick here with that volume flip. That's what I saw. That's why I was saying do not even try to enter into shorts. I just know how some of you guys think, man, because I was there yesterday, right? Like I know when you see a big move like this, and you hear someone talking about it and you're like, oh my God, blah, 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 400% profit. And you're like, you know, F it. I'm going to get back in. I'm going to get back in. And people will think that. Like they'll see a pullback like this, right? They'll see it do that. and they'll go, look, it's pulled back to 610. Like I can get a good entry here. So that's why I said that out loud, because I don't want you to just to get wrecked just based off of hope alone. All right, I'll wait for this candle to close and then I'm going to leave. I'm going to see where this closes. Then on the bounce, what should I target? Should I take a full exit up here at 611.50? Man, I mean, I would. This is such aggressive selling pressure. It's hard to imagine this actually fully bouncing today. It might recover it by the end of the week, but to think that this move gets recovered today, I would be shocked. I would be really, really shocked if we recovered this move today. So yeah, I mean, I think you got handed a golden trade if that happened, right? Like if you truly did get in there where I said it looked like it was going to bounce, that's big, man. You basically just got 60 points in a matter of 3 minutes. I would take a majority exit. That's for sure. You could take a majority exit here at 50 points in profit, place your stop at entry, and you can kind of do what I did with Tesla. Just like leave those guys behind to see what they can do, just to see. Tesla should be right here, 470. Well, the volume is extremely high on this candle. Point of control is formed right here at 611.24. This is the new point of control. This bounce is more than likely going to continue, guys, especially if it closes above 611.20. If it closes 611.20, I might just cut it. It's the first real pullback, basically. The 350 at the bottom. Oh, that's tough. What a tough close. I'll leave my trailing stop where it's at, um, just to see how this thing starts to continue to sell through. But hey, if you're in that bounce, you can do that thesis I kind of talked about earlier if you would like. Um, I'm going to stop out, guys. Again, 612.70. Okay, that's where my trailing stop is. All right, everybody. So I don't really see any other questions. Hopefully, I was a great day for everybody. All the new people, hopefully you found some value today. Hopefully you were able to learn something today. Hopefully you made some money today. If you didn't make some money today, hopefully you did realistically just learn a good amount. Um, but wonderful, wonderful, wonderful trades here. Really good executions. First trade, whether you got stopped out or not, whether you just held through it. Hopefully the second entry was clear, concise, and you were able to take that, or just confirmation to stay in the trade, really. The Tesla breakout, beautiful trade. I saw someone mentioned that whenever I said you can still get into this, it was at 472. I said you can still get into Tesla here. It's fine. So there technically was a call out. It was just later. It was at 472 is when I said that. But that gentleman, he scalped it for 30%. And he was like, I feel like I was late to the trade. So that's why I took a full exit at 30%. Should I have held it longer? In my opinion, guys, 30% on a Monday, on Monday's contracts, when you were rocking a 10% stop loss, you got to remember, don't compare. Don't look at 100% ROI on Tesla and be like, oh my God, I could have got more. Like, this is terrible. 30% is nothing. Because at the peak, this was 120%, right? At the very peak, it was 125% profit, 124, actually. That's what I saw. Um, do not look at that number and compare and be like, wow, I only got 30%. No, your net ROI was 30% because you literally set and forget to 30%. That's wonderful. That's a 3-to-1 risk to reward ratio. So if you entered at 472, you got 30% profit, took the full exit when you had a 10% stop loss. Bravo to you, my friend. Bravo to you. Seriously. Seriously, that's incredible. Because even with 124%, my net ROI on this, if it comes back to entry, is going to be roughly, I believe, in the range of 65% profit. So about half, simply because the Monday I was not expecting such a clean move to the upside. So once it started working, that was great, but I had already taken that half trim around 20% profit. So I'd already done the deed, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'm still hoping as of now, I'm still hoping QQQ continues to sell. It doesn't look like it wants to. It looks like it still wants to bounce. And I'm hoping if this does bounce, I'm hoping at least maybe Tesla can go with it and we can see that all-time high. If we can get back above 41.30 and we're about to close, like the market's going to close, I'm going to swing this, okay? Just so everyone's aware. I'm going to swing Tesla into tomorrow if we close above 481.30. If we're not closing above 41.30, I'm not going to swing this trade. But if we do, I'm going to swing it. All right, black and white, just so everyone's aware in here, the few people that are left. So again, just kind of targeting new all-time highs. Because what happens when we form new all-time highs, especially with Tesla, it's almost like a meme stock. It gets all over the news. People talk about Elon Musk's billionaire valuation climbing higher and higher and higher and how rich he is. And then other people jump on the train. And then you have FOMO retail investors that jump on the train. It's just everyone jumping on the train, right? And eventually the train crashes and it comes back down. But it is honestly, it's a good opportunity to make some really good quick money when it pertains to options, because you can see basically a 488 break and you could see a nice, like, let's say you took that specific breakout. If it actually breaks out, you could easily see like a 50 to 100% trade right away, just because so many people buy into that all-time high break. Eventually it fizzles out. I would imagine between 498 and 500, it would fizzle out and you could see a big pullback, but that's kind of what I'm targeting. So hopefully everyone's aware kind of what I'm shooting for in that regard. And I'm assuming when we get up here, I'm assuming it'll be close to 200% profit. So that's what I'm hoping for. All right, everybody. Great job today, guys. I will see you guys bright and early tomorrow morning. We're going to keep crushing it. Again, make sure, hold on. I can start my video. Let me end my OBS. Stop recording. All right, now I can start my, or do I have to close OBS? That's right. All right, I'm here. All right, guys, double flex. Hold on. I know it's sad. Boom. All right, 1% better every single day. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Again, it's right there. There it is. Make sure you're getting outside, staying healthy. All right. Remember, I'm going to post about it today, but I talked about in the beginning of December, that lock-in period, right? 30 days of just locking it in, tackling that goal that you were going to have on January 1st, whatever that goal was. You want to keep that in mind as starting it now. Get ahead now. That way, January 1st, you're already ahead of the game. You've created those goals. If it's health, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, 3 days a week will do wonders for you. If you don't exercise on a normal daily basis, make it your goal these last 2 weeks to try to get in 3 exercises per week. And I'm a big fan of you doing something you enjoy to do. That way, there's a higher likelihood you'll continue to do it. Don't say, I hate working out, so I'm going to go to the gym and lift weights. No. Do you like playing soccer? Do you like playing baseball? Do you like just going for runs in your neighborhood? Do you like swimming? Biking? Is biking something you like to do? Whatever it is, please try it now. Start it now. Tell yourself, no matter what, put an alarm on your phone. I'm going to go on a 30-minute walk today. If you're terrible at doing cardio, that's great for your health, right? If you've been wanting to get stronger and lift weights, tell yourself, I'm going to go to the gym today. The hardest thing to do with the gym is getting there. Once you're there, you're set. So just get there. Just get in the car and go there. All right. But yeah, try to work on that now. Okay. Get that going. So that way, January 1st, you feel like a rock star and you're already ahead of the game. It will help your trading. I can guarantee that it will help your trading. So any form of discipline helps hard pursuits that you are pushing for. All right, everybody. All right, guys. You have my stop loss criteria as well on the short trade. QQQ puts, I am more than likely going to stop out at 612.70. Okay. And Tesla, I will stop out at entry, $4 a contract on Tesla on the 490 calls. Okay. And again, if we close above 41.30, I will try to swing this. Hopefully we can hit this today. I'm hoping we can hit this today, this all-time high. All right, everybody. Peace out, guys. Appreciate every single one of you. Have a good one. I'll see you tomorrow.